Living Assistance Services is a non-medical home care provider of senior care that's available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Dave Porter and Paula Price are in studio to join us and talk to us a bit about the fantastic program that you guys have operating. Deja, I know your grandfather
Yeah, well, this is an issue that's very dear to me. My grandfather is, we talk about him a lot on the show, actually. He's out there, he's 92, but he doesn't want to live with the old people, he likes to say, and he likes to just get out there. But we just put him in an assisted living home. He seems to love it. But my great aunt is the complete opposite. She wants to just stay at home, but we're getting a little bit nervous about keeping her there on her own. And this is why the services like yours are so very important. Now, David, tell us a little bit about what your service offers.
Well, our service is designed for people like your aunt who want to stay at home. Seniors have various levels of sociability, and some like home and some don't. Our research indicates that about 80% prefer to stay at home, so that's what we do.
Yeah. It's really about allowing them to continue to have their independence, but have the support necessary for them to be able to continue with that. Tell us a bit more, Paula, about the specifics as to what you guys do.
Yes, we actually offer a range of services, primarily offering home support, the kinds of things that you're talking about, Deja, in terms of assisting with meal planning, laundry, accompanying people to appointments, that kind of thing. But we also, at Living Assistance Services, have a bit of a different service that we offer in terms of additional supplementary opportunities. So we have nurses, myself and Susan Sainsbury. We offer nursing consultation to families to help plan the kinds of things that you're talking about, whether it be transition into an institutional setting or whether it be to bring the resources such as physiotherapy or whatever to the home.
Now, what do you find that people have the most trouble with at home on their own? What are some of their toughest struggles?
Well, they're varied. I would say probably the #1 complaint is the ability to cook. With Alzheimer's and the number of Alzheimer's patients, it's a concern for many families, leaving the stove on, for instance.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of families want to make sure that there's someone there to ensure safety more than anything.
Well, my grandmother, once, she's an amazing cook, but once she cut herself very badly. Just a slip, and she's not one to do this normally because she cooks constantly. But it was very scary for us, not knowing that there was no one there to help her in that. Was she going to faint? Is she going to be okay? And it's services like yours that eliminate that is even a possibility.
Right. And our personal support workers are trained to assist with home safety, specifically in the area of cooking.
Yeah.
Did you notice that there was a great need for the service in our community?
Huge.
Yes, actually the survey that we did identified that more people want to actually stay at home, and the business has grown so much over the last 10 years. It's unbelievable, the requests.
Well, I'm thinking also the baby boomer generation, and getting to that point where they need a little extra help.
Definitely, there's a huge population that's getting older, in our society. Talk a bit about the children of some of these seniors and the comfort that this service gives them.
Yeah.
Well, it's important to realize, first of all, that the senior population has doubled since the 80s and is expected to double again in the next 25 years. So we're talking about a lot of people. In 2035, 25% of the Canadian population will be 65 or older.
Wow.
So that gives you an indication of the types of numbers that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And as far as the families are concerned, quite honestly, what they're looking for is someone nice to look after their parents. It's really as simple as that. We provide them with PSWs, personal support workers. We interview probably 150 for every 1 or 2 that we hire.
Oh, wow.
So we're extremely careful we send because it's important. It's
well, and that's the other thing. The government has this campaign out right now making folks aware about senior abuse. And sometimes when you don't know that somebody is trained and qualified, and you bring them into your home, you don't know who you're having take care of your folks.
Right. It's a huge worry. This is why we have them checked out. We're meticulous about reference checks and those sorts of things. And the PSW course itself is a 16-week community college course, so they have to have an interest level, obviously, that takes them through that course. And we also introduce them to the client. We allow the client to pick between 2 and 3 caregivers. So at the end of the day, it's their choice.
It's their. I want to say a quick hello to Shona. Hello, Shona.
I met Shona.
She's one of my grandpa's care workers, and they have a fantastic relationship with each other. He thanks her every day. He gives her trouble, but he loves her to death. Well, and that's so great. That kind of relationship they develop.
And that's the thing as well. I mean, they're able to build those kinds of relationships with the caregivers, correct?
Yes.
And I would say that that's really the strength of our business is building relationships. From the first call that we have, David is usually the person that speaks with the client. And you're mentioning earlier about families. Families are often the ones that contact us. So from the very beginning, we start to build a relationship. And then once the personal support worker is in the home, the care provider, then we carry on our relationship that things are working out. And sometimes if it's not a good fit, we look and see if there's somebody else that
So it's really a collaborative process.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Any special relationships you want to tell us about? Again, you know, Shona and my grandfather are a great example of, you know, dynamic duo. But are there any relationships you want to tell us about?
Well, nirvana for us really is when the caregiver falls in love with the family, and the family falls in love with the caregiver, and it happens all the time.
Yeah.
You know, our success rate in placement is probably mid 90%. Which is great, and I think that's a testament to the fact that we interview so many people before we place them. But this is a very good thing, and often goes on for years.
Well, it can also, you know, tackle things like depression. What's the change in seniors that you see once you integrate a caregiver into the home?
I think that's a very interesting question, because I think part of it is having somebody around, as you were saying, Deja, in terms of your aunt who maybe is on her own a bit more, the stimulation or lack of stimulation. If you have somebody else in the home, not that they're always with you, but they're available to provide some companionship.
Right.
As well as our nursing services that we offer, the consultation. Sometimes it's assessing that perhaps the senior is actually experiencing some depression and helping to negotiate some of the things with physicians.
So tell us a bit more about the actual logistics and the process, about, you know, if someone is interested in having these services for a senior that they know, how do they contact you, how do they get in touch, and what's the process like?
To discover more about us, the thing to do is to go to our website initially, and that's laservices.ca. At that website, you'll see a list of essentially what we do and how we do it. And it will guide you through the process from the first introduction to actually working in the home.
Well, it's a great program.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I encourage our viewers, if you have someone who's in need of a companion, a little help at home, go for it. And Shona, thanks for taking care of my pops. We'll be right back with more.
Thanks, guys, for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.